Welcome to FinBot Insights. In this explainer, we're diving deep into a very hot topic for income investors, high-yield ETFs, and specifically the YieldMax model. Now, these products promise some pretty incredible monthly income, but there's a growing critique that suggests you might need to be very cautious about what's happening to your original investment over the long haul. So let's break down that argument together.
You can absolutely see the appeal, can't you? The potential for a significant monthly check from your investments is a powerful draw. But the big question we have to ask is it sustainable? One critic describes this whole pursuit as an elusive dream, which really suggests that the high-income investors are chasing might come with a hidden price tag.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the allure of that elusive dream of high yield. Then we'll examine a central question that critics are asking. After that, we'll investigate a concept called the marketing erosion theory, consider the whole reinvestment dilemma, and then wrap it all up with some key questions for any income-focused investor. So let's begin with part 1, the elusive dream of yield. It's so important to first understand exactly why these funds are able to attract so much capital and attention. The promise at the heart of it all is incredibly straightforward. You invest your money, and in return, you receive a substantial distribution each month. This creates the perception of a highly efficient cash-generating asset, and for anyone who's prioritizing income, well, that is a very compelling proposition. And that brings us to the second and arguably most critical part of our discussion, because while investors are receiving these high payouts, many have noticed a concerning pattern. The fund's share price itself seems to be in a persistent state of decline. This observation raises a fundamental question about the whole strategy.
And here it is, plain and simple. Why do the funds just go down? This question really gets to the heart of the matter. You have to ask, of what value are those high monthly payouts if the principal, the amount you originally invested, is steadily diminishing? Let's look at a specific case study from the source material involving the MST fund. An investor reports selling their shares at $44. Now here's the interesting part. Later on, even as the fund's underlying asset, Bitcoin, was reaching new all-time highs, the fund's share price actually fell, all the way below $20. This represents a substantial loss in the investment's principal value. Now, to put that into real numbers, for this particular investor, who held 4,700 shares, that price decline translated into a potential loss on their principal of over $100,000. This all leads to the big question of why. Why does this happen? Well, a critic has proposed a theory they call marketing erosion. It argues that this decline in share price isn't just random market noise, but rather a structural component of the fund's model. So what is marketing erosion? The theory suggests that a fund's need to pay out a high dividend for marketing reasons to attract and keep investors can actually become more important than the goal of preserving the fund's underlying value. That value is its net asset value, or NAV. The theory claims paying the distribution might be prioritized over protecting your investment. This creates two sharply contrasting narratives. You have the official fund view, which states that any price decline is simply the result of normal market volatility. And then you have the critics' theory, which contends that the price is falling precisely because of the fund's distribution policy. This theory can be broken down into a 4-step process. First, the fund markets the promise of a high distribution. Second, the trading profits for the month are insufficient to actually cover that promised payout. Third, to meet the expectation, the fund pays the distribution directly from its own assets. And the final result is a systematic decline in the fund's per-share value, its NAV. Now, when this concern is raised, the most common response investors hear is to simply reinvest their dividends, a practice we all know as dripping. But the real question is, does this strategy actually resolve the underlying problem we've been talking about? The advice given to investors is very consistent. Drip your distributions back into the fund and simply trust the long-term strategy. This is often presented as the primary, if not only, method to counteract the effects of this proposed marketing erosion. And right here, it is absolutely vital to distinguish between receiving a dividend and achieving a positive total return. They are not the same thing. If you reinvest your payout into an asset whose NAV is in decline, are you truly compounding your wealth? Are you simply purchasing more of a depreciating asset? This entire analysis leads us to what is most important.
the questions that every investor should be asking before allocating their capital to any high-yield fund like this. You should consider this a framework for your own due diligence. These questions are designed to make you look beyond that advertised yield and to analyze the fundamental mechanics of the investment. They help clarify if the money you're receiving is generated from profit or if it is effectively just a return of your own principal. Ultimately, the entire analysis really rests on this single critical question. Is the high yield you are being paid a true profit from a successful strategy, or is it a sophisticated mechanism for returning your own capital to you less the management fees? Your answer to that question should determine your entire investment thesis. We hope this structured breakdown has provided you with some valuable insights. For more in-depth analyses to help inform your investment decisions, please click like on this explainer and subscribe to the Finbot Insights channel.